Hello students, I am Barsha, your teacher for today. I welcome you all to this special online session. Today we are going to start a new chapter from your EVS book. The chapter is When the Earth Shook. We all know that we are living in this beautiful nature, but sometimes we have to face the wrath of nature in the form of natural disasters. You would have experienced a lot of natural disasters, would have heard from the recent news like cyclonic storms, flood, drought, famine, earthquakes, etc. These natural disasters come and affect not only the lives of the people but even the property, and sometimes the whole city is completely devastated and destroyed. It takes a certain time for the people to adjust themselves, and it becomes really very difficult for the people to get back into their normal lives. So this chapter also deals with one such natural disaster, the earthquake, when the whole earth shook. It is the story about the earthquake which occurred in the year 2001 in the state of Gujarat. So I do hope that we will learn how can we be strong and bold enough to face these tough times which are not in our control. These are beyond our control. Okay, so let's start the chapter. So students, here is our chapter today, When the Earth Shook. It starts with a bad dream where the child gets haunted with a bad dream and he wakes up suddenly. What was the bad dream which haunted him so badly? Let us know from this chapter. A bad dream. Help! Help! Save me! Ah! Ow! There was screaming and shouting everywhere. The ground was shaking and people were running all around. Screaming loudly, I got up. On hearing me, my mother also woke up. She came running and held me tight. It was the same bad dream. It has been more than 6 years now since the earthquake, but in my sleep I still feel the earth shaking and trembling. I am Jasma. I live in the Kutch area of Gujarat. I was 11 years old when there was an earthquake. So here is the story of Jasma, who is always haunted with a bad dream. Can you imagine the effect of the incident? Yes, of course, it was so terrible. That's why Jasma could still feel the pain of that particular incident. She lives in Kutch area of Gujarat and she was 11 years old when there was an earthquake in that area. Everywhere was devastation. People were shouting, running for help, moving here and there, but it could not help them at all. People were so scared and the situation was completely beyond the control of the people. So it was a very bad day for the people of Gujarat. So let us see what happened during the situation and how did the people overcome the grief and the pain. It was 26th January 2001. Everyone from the village, children and old people had gathered in the ground of the school to watch the parade on TV. Suddenly the ground was shaking. People were scared and started running here and there. No one knew what was happening and what to do. There was total panic. So it was a bright morning like any other morning, and there was something special about this day because it was 26th January and we all know it is our Republic Day. So this is a very proud day for every Indian. we enjoy that pride, that special moment, because our constitution was ready on that day, it was adopted and it came to effect on this particular day. So that's such a great day for all of us. So everybody in the village also, whether it's a town, whether it's a village, every Indian knows the worth of our constitution. So the people, let it be the children or the old people, gathered in the school ground to watch the parade on TV. We know that on 26th January there is a parade in front of the Red Fort, and our honorable president, our honorable prime minister, everybody is present on this special occasion. And there are a lot of things which happen, starting from dances and music and beautiful, amazing display of the specialities of every state. So this was the day when all were very happy and excited to watch the parade on TV. But suddenly something different happened, something which was very shocking for all of the residents of Gujarat. The ground started shaking, it was trembling, and people were so scared that they could not understand anything and started running here and there for help. But nobody was ever able to understand that what happened and what should they do immediately. There was total panic. People were very much frightened and scared. Let us see what happened next. In a few minutes, our village was flat on the ground. All our things, clothes, pots, grains and food were trapped under the stones, mud and wood from the fallen houses. At that time, everyone thought of two things: to save the people who were trapped and to treat the injured. The village hospital was also damaged. Many people were seriously injured. My leg also got fractured. The doctor treated people with the help of the villagers. So, just within a few minutes, the complete scenario changed. The whole village was shattered into pieces and the village could be seen flat on the ground. All the essentials from the houses were scattered here and there, starting from clothes, pots, grains and food. And some of the things were trapped under the stones. The houses were completely destroyed, they were broken, and some people were even trapped under those houses. Can you imagine the pain of those people, the suffering and the wailing of those people were really very, very terrible. But everyone present there, those who were safe and alive, could think about two things. The two things which were in their mind was to save the people who were trapped and to treat the injured, because many people were affected by this. The hospital also was so much destroyed because of the earthquake that people could not take the medical assistance from the hospital. So many people were seriously injured and they needed immediate medical attention. Even Jasma's leg got fractured. Anyhow, the doctors were very helpful. They came to help these people and the doctor helped to treat the people of this particular village. The villagers also lent a hand to help these people and treat the injured. 6 people of our village died. My grandfather, Nana, was also buried under the houses. My mother wept all the time. Seeing my mother, I also cried. The entire village was sad and disturbed. So this was not a simple earthquake, it was intense and it affected the lives of the people. 6 people in the village were dead now, they lost their lives. Along with them, Jasma's grandfather, his maternal grandfather, whom he used to call Nana, he was also no more there. Losing any person who is very close and dear to you is such a great pain. Such pain was felt by Jasma's mother. Jasma could see his mother crying every time, but he could not help her. The entire village was disturbed and shaken by this incident. House of Mota Bapu, who is the Sarpanch of our village, was not much damaged. He gave rice and wheat to everyone from his godown. For many days, the village women cooked food together at Mota Bapu's house and fed everyone. But fortunately, the Sarpanch of the village, who was popularly known as Mota Bapu, his house was not damaged to such extent, and as the leader of the village, he was very resourceful and he was very helpful during this critical situation. He gave rice and wheat to everyone from his godown. So he helped all the people, those who really needed the help. And for many days, the village women also cooked food together at his house. Imagine being without a house in the cold winter. Fear and the cold kept us awake in the nights. All the time we were worried that there may be another earthquake. So it was a natural thought for the people, those who had really suffered that day. They were living under a fear that maybe again the situation can occur with the same intensity, and what will happen then. So they had lost their houses, they had no place to be safe. Their houses were not there, and it was the winter season. You can imagine how much difficulty they would have faced without a house and in such a cold winter season. There was the fear and there was the cold, intense weather of this winter. They were awake all the nights. So this was the situation of the people in Gujarat, in the district of Kutch. Students, there are some important questions for you to discuss and write it down yourself. The first question is here for you. Have you or anyone that you know ever faced such difficulty? This is for you to discuss with your parents, with your neighbors, or with your relatives whom you know very closely. If you have known about anyone who has ever faced such difficulty, you can write it. It may be your friend, it may be your relative, distant relative who are staying in such places. It could be any kind of difficulty. It may be an earthquake, it may be a famine or drought or flood. Who all helped at such a time? Make a list. You have to make a list of the people who come to help these kind of people, those who are injured, wounded and need a lot of emotional strength. So who do you think help the people at such a time? So let us see about this. There are many people who come to help at such times. Some examples are there, like neighbors who help each other. There are people from bigger cities who come for help. There are the local leaders, political leaders, various non-government organizations, NGOs come for helping, doctors and nurses of the nearby hospitals, and some kind shopkeepers are also there who come to help. Let us move to the next part where we will know what happened next. Help arrives. For some days after that, people from the cities kept coming to see what had happened. They came with food, medicines and clothes. Everyone used to rush to take these things. The clothes that we got were very different. We had never worn such clothes before. Now for some days after that, there were many people, those who came from different places, from other cities, who came to witness the situation, and they came along with a lot of food and medicines and clothes for these people, and everybody was in such a situation that everybody rushed to take these things from the people, and the clothes which they got were very different from what they wear usually. because they lived in Gujarat, and maybe people from the cities had got the clothes for them, so they were somewhat different from what they wear usually. People from different groups from the city helped us to put up the tents. Staying in these plastic tents in the cold winter months was very difficult. So, some people from different groups had come from the city to help these people, and because they had no shelters to live and uh, support themselves, these people helped the villagers to put up the tents. And it was very difficult and painstaking for the villagers to stay in the plastic tents in the cold winter season, because the plastic was not able to protect them properly from this extreme cold. It was very difficult indeed, but they had no other option. Some of these people were scientists. They tried to find out which areas have more chances of having an earthquake. People from our village talked to them many times. They had suggestions about building our houses again. Engineers and architects showed us some special designs for houses. They said that with this design, houses would not get damaged much in an earthquake. You know, the people, those who had come to help these people, were very kind and helpful. They were very resourceful, and some of them were even scientists. So they could explore and could find out that some parts in the village particularly had more chances of having an earthquake. So they advised the people of the village about this, that they had to choose a better place for making their house, so that they do not get affected again if the earthquake reoccurs. They had so many suggestions also about building the houses in a proper way. There were engineers and architects who helped the villagers to know about some special designs for the houses. And they also said that with those designs, the houses would not get damaged easily to more extent in an earthquake. So that would be quite helpful for the people of the village. But our poor people were a little afraid. They thought, if these people build our houses, our village will not look like our old village. So the villagers thought they would build their own houses with their help. The groups would build the village school. Village people are very simple and very innocent. They were so shattered and so frightened that they could not trust these people who came for their help. They thought if these people were allowed to build their village, maybe it would be completely different from what it was earlier. They may lose the originality of their old village. Maybe they build it in a new modern way. So these people were not convinced, and they didn't want that those people should build their houses. So they decided, they thought that they would build their own houses, definitely with the help of the people, but they would be playing the major role. And the groups, they were employed to build the village school, which was a very important part of the village. We all worked together to rebuild our village. Some people dug and brought the clay from the pond. We mixed the clay with cow dung and made large cakes. We put these on one another to make the walls. We whitewashed the walls and decorated them with beautiful designs and small pieces of mirrors. We put up the thatched roof. Now our house shines like a diamond in the dark night. We all worked together to rebuild our village. So with the help of the people, those who had come to help these villagers were able to rebuild their village once again. So they worked hard a lot. They dug and brought the clay from the pond, and they mixed the clay with the cow dung. It was a traditional way of building the houses, and still then they did it. They made large cakes and they had put these on one another to make the walls. They whitewashed their walls and decorated them with beautiful designs. So students, there are always these special people like these engineers, these architects, doctors and nurses, and there are also these government agencies of special regions who come to help in these kinds of disasters. So there are special commissions also set up for these, like let it be the flood or let it be a drought. So there are certain government agencies who always come to help people from this kind of distress. So thank you to those people, and we really salute the efforts of those people who really do not care about their safety but still come and help us. So anyhow, the village was rebuilt and it really looked great because they had put up the thatched roof, and because of the mirrors, they had used mirrors to decorate their walls, and for that reason the walls were shining very bright even in the dark night. Now let us come to the question answer part. There are certain questions which I think you know it and you can answer it very correctly. So here is the question for you. A lot of people from other places came to Jasma's village. Who were these people? In what ways would they have helped the villagers? So this is the question of our chapter. What do you think these people would have done to help the villagers? We have already learnt about it, and now I am sure that you got the answer. Yes. Many people came from cities to Jasma's village. Some of them may have been from non-government organization, some of them were scientists, some of them may have been doctors and medical personnel. They would have helped by bringing in the much needed relief. They brought food, clothes, medicines, etc. The scientists wanted to identify areas which were more prone to getting earthquakes. They also wanted to build houses which would not have been damaged in case of an earthquake. Now let us move to the next question. People in Jasma's village rebuilt their houses with suggestions from the engineers. Will these houses be safer than before in case there is an earthquake again? Why? We already know that so many people came for the help, and the engineers also suggested villagers to build in a new way, build the house in a new way. So do you think it would keep their houses safe? Yes? So people in Jasma's village rebuilt their houses with suggestions from the engineers. The engineers gave suggestions to build houses so that there would be least damage in case of an earthquake. So these houses would be safer in case there is an earthquake again. Now let us move to the next question. Think, if there were an earthquake where you live, would your house be in danger? So in case of an earthquake in my area, my house would definitely be in danger because the walls can develop cracks and in the worst case roofs can collapse. Household items like TV, fridge, etc. would also be damaged. There is a risk of fire also. So these are the questions. We have also another question. What will you do to save pet animals during natural disaster? So during the natural disaster, we should let these pet animals free so that they can help themselves, because they know it far better than us and they can sense danger. So they would be free and then they could save themselves. Students, we have got a lot of information about the earthquake which occurred in the state of Gujarat. So we got to know that so many lives were destroyed, and the property, the houses, the trees, so many buildings like schools, hospitals, everything was completely destroyed and devastated due to this earthquake. But still there are a lot of things for us to know so that we could be careful and conscious enough for these kind of natural disasters which come often and we do not have any idea about it. So whatever we have learnt, it is very important, and we are going to learn more information about the same chapter, but for that you have to wait patiently, and so We will meet in our next session where we will complete the rest of the part of this chapter. So till then, be safe, be happy and keep exploring new facts. Thank you.